Hello, I welcome you from my fort, because today I'm stealing Ava's brand, I guess. I don't know, she told me to do it. Hello, I'm Jenna, and you're watching another WWM Productions video. I decided I would do my own little March Madness. Well, no, I didn't. I came up with this video, and then I realized that it was March Madness, and it was like, wow. And I have to figure out which one I think is better and which one I choose above the other. I won't have an overall winner because this is already way too hard for me. This is kind of like a torturous video, but I got some choices I gotta make, and that's not super exciting to me. So anyway, I guess I'll just dive right into it because I got movies to talk about, thoughts to have, decisions to make. Round one. Grand Budapest Hotel versus The Dead Poets Society. Yeah, I have chaotic tastes, one could say. So anyway, these two movies, like, when I saw them paired together, I was like, wow, these, like, they're not similar, but I mean, they kind of are. The Grand Budapest Hotel, like, what is there not to like? Like, that movie is just so funky, and it's just so great to watch it all unravel, because it's always going in some direction, and you're just kept on the edge of your seat, not necessarily because it's super thrilling, but because you just have no idea where it's going, and it's just so great. The emotions, the characters, the writing, oh, I love Wes Anderson films. I have to go watch some more of them, but this is one of my favorites. But then, Dead Poets Society is one of definitely the movies I have on here. It's a classic for good reason why. It's dark academia at its finest, and it's just a moving portrait of characters, and I mean, I love poetry, and like a secret society at a boarding school, like, oh, that gets me, and just, oh, it's so good, but I think the choice is pretty clear to me. The Grand Budapest Hotel is just such a special movie, and I just love its style, and the setting, and the story it tells. The first time I watched it, I just fell in love. It was just so beautiful, so unfortunately, I have to pick the Grand Budapest Hotel to win. Round number 2 is Knives Out versus Inception, and this is kind of mean. I'll explain why, but Knives Out is honestly like one of the best mystery movies that I've seen. I really loved it, and I had an expectation of what this movie was. I got to see it in theaters, which just does not happen all the time, but I saw it in theaters, and I was just shocked when the movie changed, and it just became something else entirely, and I was like, okay, now this is pretty great. It was a whodunit, and then it flipped itself, and it was just, oh, yes. And again, like, that style, and all of the different characters, and how it all came together in the story, oh my god, it was so satisfying to watch. And then Inception, this is, like, I don't always rewatch movies, but I have watched this movie at least 3 times. I have a great attachment to Inception. Inception is just such a great movie. I love all of the characters. That's kind of a resounding theme here. It's acted so well, and it's honestly, I think it's one of Christopher Nolan's best, and I love Christopher Nolan as a director. I think all of his movies are so great, but this one, something about it. I love dreams and heists, and this movie isn't necessarily completely dreams and heists, but I mean it is. So it's got everything I love, and Leonardo DiCaprio is in it, and I mean, that's an added bonus, and I love watching this movie and all of the different dreamscapes and everything. It's just so well done, and like the backwards heist. So the reason this is mean is because Inception is my favorite movie of all time. So I probably shouldn't have included it in the bracket, but I did. So Knives Out is a movie that I think is really great, but to me, on an emotional level, it just does not hold a candle to Inception. Inception is just somewhere I can go and escape to and find something new every time I watch it, and just something to love and enjoy. Round number 3. Oh wow, okay. We have Love, Simon versus Romeo plus Juliet, which is the Baz Luhrmann version of Romeo and Juliet. And this is... okay. Love, Simon is based off of the book. There it is. It's the red one. Simon versus the Homo Sapiens Agenda by Becky Albertalli, and I love that book, and this movie is so great. I don't really watch a lot of rom-coms, but this one is, I mean, come on. I think this movie is pretty great. The book is pretty great too. If you haven't read it, go read it. This movie is just so nice, and it's sweet, and it's wholesome, and I was so happy to have like a LGBTQ plus rom-com made for teens that wasn't like super heavy. Like, yes, it has some stuff in it because it's just what it is, but I don't know, it's just the first time I watched this movie, it was just such a great experience, and it was so affirming and wholesome, and I just, it's just a nice movie, and I love it. And then you have Romeo plus Juliet, which is, you know, kind of the opposite. So Romeo plus Juliet is a more modern take on Romeo and Juliet, the classic Shakespeare version, and I was really impressed with this. I don't always watch a lot of like adaptations of like classics, especially because I prefer to read them first and have my vision of them and see how they're adapted, but Baz Luhrmann did such a great job adapting it because it was just so interesting. Not only did he keep all of like the original Shakespeare for the most part, so like everybody's speaking Shakespeare, but like you just get so used to it by the end of the movie that it doesn't even really matter. And the idea of making it like gangster, beach area, crazy freneticism, it just worked so well for the story, and it was just so chaotic, I guess, but in the best way, that it was just such a great experience. And I mean, you know, Leonardo DiCaprio, Claire Danes, Paul Rudd is in this movie, I'm pretty sure, and it's just, and the costume party scene where they first meet, I don't know which one to pick because they're so different. And I love both of them, and they're both about romance and kind of the trials and tribulations of love, but in complete different directions. Oh no. I think I have to pick Romeo plus Juliet. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Oh, I think they're both so good, but there's just so much for me to unpack with Romeo plus Juliet, and there was just so much put into it, and you know me, I love when movies have kind of like a crazy out there style and they go for something, and Love, Simon is just so nice, and it's a movie that I can definitely curl up with and watch, but I just, yeah, Romeo plus Juliet just has to win. New round, next round is, okay, 1917 versus Dunkirk. So literally war. This has escalated to literal war now. Great. So 1917 is a fantastic movie. It is so effective. It was just so good. It took place during World War I, and you know me, I'm a history nerd. Gotta love that. And just, the score is so good. And just all of the visuals, and I've been meaning to rewatch this movie for a while now because it is just so impressive, and how it uses the one take so effectively to portray its themes and the horrors of war and everything that these characters are going through. And the characters themselves, like, you just stay with these two soldiers and watch the things they go through and how devoted they are to their mission, and just the overall effects. It's just, it gets you. It got me so much, and I was just, sitting there in that theater. And oh my god, the city when it's on fire, and he's just going through this nightmare scene, and the music. One of my favorite pieces of cinema, like, of all the things I've watched, that is probably, like, that stuck with me. I left the movie theater and it is snowing heavy outside, and I'm just in a daze because all I can think about is that one scene. It is just so beautiful. But then on the other hand, Dunkirk is like such like a bleak and time, like both of these, in the idea of time and time as an enemy and the things that we're fighting for on the other side of a war. And I mean, you know me, I love Christopher Nolan movies, and Dunkirk is so different from some of the things he's done, but it's also so well in the staggered different storylines and how, like, it's so abstract. It works so well once you see what it's doing. And I mean, I know people, like, love that Harry Styles in this movie, and I mean, yeah, I guess that's pretty cool, and just, oh, and how you get attached to the characters, but you have no idea if they're going to live or die, and oh, it's just such a moving puzzle and to watch and experience. Oh. I don't watch a lot of war movies, but these two are probably, like, way up on my list. Like, you got World War I versus World War II, and But 1917 wins, because I'm sorry, Dunkirk is so amazing and moving, but just 1917 just has all of the visuals and the storytelling and the impactfulness that Dunkirk has, but 1917 I could watch over and over and over again. 1917 is so effective, and everything comes together so well that, like, these two are, like, neck and neck, but, like, 1917 just has to edge it out. Ava would never look at me the same if I said that it didn't win. With Coco versus Ponyo, I love both of these movies, but they are so different. Ponyo is, I don't want to call it a slice of life, but it's such, like, it has just such a childish joy that makes it just so wonderful to watch. It's so quirky and nice and beautiful, and it just, the idea of, like, going through a submerged city with supernatural best friend is just so nice and warm and, like, great to watch, and it was so wonderful to see. It was whimsical. I loved it. It was great. And Coco again has this magic and touching storytelling that I wanted to cry the first time I watched it, and I mean, within a week I was watching it again just because I couldn't get over the experience of it. It was just something that I so rarely felt. I don't cry a lot when I watch things, and that doesn't necessarily mean I don't like it. Just, I don't know, I'm a very hard person to make cry, and this movie almost did me in. It was just so wonderful, and again, the animation and the story and how they throw everything in, and the score too. I think Ponyo wins, because Coco is great, and the idea of family, and it does follow just this more rigid structure, and I love that Ponyo feels so free, and it's nowhere near the level, like, of Howl's Moving Castle, but at the same time, Ponyo is just such a gorgeous movie that this is a rough decision, and honestly, you could ask me this again tomorrow, and I would tell you something different. Now we have two more choices. Two more. And I don't like either of them. The first is Endgame versus Blade Runner 2049. Avengers Endgame, I mean, I want to say everybody loved it, but I mean, not everybody loved it. And if you didn't love it, that's fine, but I mean, I'm a plebeian, I guess, and I thought Avengers Endgame was really fantastic, and it's just the culmination of so many years of work and fine-tuning and storytelling and putting together pieces and watching the audience put together a puzzle that is just, it was so impressive. And I mean, for a conclusion of something that was so anticipated and so teased, like, it could have gone so sideways. And I know there are people out there that say that it wasn't that great, but I mean, you have to admit, there are so many worse ways that they could have gone out like this, and I thought it was great. I loved it, and all of the characters, and the time traveling, and all of it. It was just, I thought it was well worth the wait, and I so deeply appreciated just the care that went into that movie. Then you have Blade Runner 2049, which, if you're talking about care that goes into a movie, you kind of want to put this one in the dictionary for that. Blade Runner 2049 is such a stunning movie. I have not seen the original Blade Runner. I know, don't come after me. But I didn't need to. Because was I an iota confused watching the movie? Maybe. But it's a pretty complex movie, but it is so beautiful. You could take a screenshot of any frame in this movie and hang it on a wall, and I would just be staring at it for days, just so happy. It is beautiful. And the miniatures and all of the care that they put into all of the different colors and just the scenery and everything that they do is just so over the top, but it is so good. Just, I cannot get over to this day how beautiful this movie is. And yes, Ryan Gosling is in it too, and he has such a good job in this movie that, like, I don't want to say the story comes second, because the story too is so amazing. This movie is just like a marvelous technical achievement in making movies. It was so amazing to watch. And honestly, both of these are such achievements in different ways that when created and coming together are just so great to watch. But I think I have to put Blade Runner 2049 because it's just insane, everything that was in it, and it was so beautiful. Last choice. And boy do I hate this one. La La Land versus Titanic. I know Ava has thoughts and feelings about La La Land, but I am a simple person and I adore La La Land. I mean, Ryan Gosling, Emma Stone coming together in a Hollywood musical that is a lot unlike Hollywood musicals. And I know people have things about the music, but again, I'm a simple person, and I mean, I enjoy the soundtrack. And again, all of the colors and the sets and just the scenery and the story. I mean, it is so hard to make me enjoy a romance, but my gosh, this romance was very nice. And it was so moving, and just, it's just such a beautiful movie to me that it's so easy for me to just, if I see this movie on, I just like fall into a couch and just watch it because it's so hard not to. I've kind of crawled into it, and just a part of me always kind of lives in this land of Hollywood that maybe isn't so great, but there's dreams that can be found there even if they're not in the way that we want to. But then you have Titanic, arguably one of the most iconic movies of all time. Leonardo DiCaprio and Kate Winslet, which again, she is also a talented actress, and just you have the history, the rich history of the Titanic, and it's an epic, a romantic epic disaster movie, and just how they made the Titanic, and and it's just the romance. Oh my god, the romances. Like, I don't always watch a lot of romances, but my gosh, I've really been backed into a corner with this one. Oh, the acting in both of them are spectacular, and the stories that they weave, and oh no, what have I done? I can't choose. I can't choose between them. Nope. I'm done. I quit this video. I quit. I can't choose. You can't make me. I'm not going to. This is my video. I'm ending it right now. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, leave a comment telling me which one I should have made because I'm too much of a coward to make a choice. Do it. I won't blame you. Thank you so much for getting through this video. Goodbye.